Good morning and welcome back to our language classes. So we started discussing about adjectives. So what are adjectives? Adjectives are describing words. So an adjective is a describing word. It's used to add something to the meaning of a noun or a pronoun. So we use adjectives with noun, so they help us in making the nouns precise. So they modify the nouns or pronouns. They give more information about it. So they add something to the meaning of nouns or pronouns. Okay. So how we discussed in our last class, but let's do a quick revision. So as you can see in this sentence, there was a spider in the bathroom. So this sentence is making complete sense. It's a perfect sentence. Now if I add an adjective to this, if I say there was a huge hairy spider in the bathroom, you'll see that it's describing the spider. It's giving more information about the spider. Next, in this example, a butterfly flew into my house. So this is also making complete sense. Now if I add my adjective to it and say a blue and white butterfly flew into my house, it will give you more information about the butterfly. It will add something to the meaning of the butterfly. It will make your language even more beautiful and will give your readers or the person you're talking to more information about the things that you are talking about. So we discussed the different kinds of adjectives. So we have 6: the adjectives of quality, adjectives of quantity, adjectives of number, demonstrative adjectives, interrogative adjectives, and possessive adjectives. So we discussed in detail about adjectives of quality. So an adjective of quality describes the quality of a person, animal, or thing. It answers the question, what kind of? So he is a brave person. What kind of person? Brave person. She has a beautiful voice. What kind of voice? Beautiful voice. Okay, so we'll continue with the rest. So the second one, we have adjectives of quantity. So an adjective of quantity, it specifies the quantity of a thing. So it answers the question how much of something we are talking about. So we have enough food. We need some water. The car gave me much trouble. So how much trouble? How much of water you have? How much food you need? So these are the adjectives of quantity. They tell us about, it specifies the quantity of a thing. So an adjective of quantity, it specifies the quantity of something. It answers the question how much. Okay, so let's move on. Next, we have adjectives of number. So an adjective of number tells us how many persons or things things are meant. So how many persons or things we are talking about, and it answers the question how many. So you can see the difference. Adjectives of quantity is telling how much, and this is telling us how many. So many friends helped him. My father can speak several languages. 5 passengers got into the bus. How many passengers got into the bus? How many languages can my father speak? How many friends helped him? So you can see the difference. This is adjectives of quantity is telling you how much, and this is telling you how many. Okay, so let's see these examples over here. So it will help us in understanding adjectives of quantity and adjectives of number in a better manner. So in the first example, give the guest some food. And second one, some parents came to meet the principal. So both of them are used as adjectives, but there is a small difference. Here in this first sentence, give the guest some food. So this answers the question how much food we are talking about. So how much food? Give the guest some food. How much food? So some is used as an adjective of quantity over here. So it's used as an adjective of quantity. How much, as we discussed here, how much, we have enough food. Give the guest some food. Okay. Now here, some parents came to meet the principal. So here it's answering, here some is telling you how many. Okay. So when it answers the question how many, what it is? It is adjectives of number. Right? Now it means that the same word some, it can be the same word some, it is used as an adjective of quantity and also adjective of number depending upon the way that we use it. So we learned in our previous classes of nouns that nouns can be countable or uncountable. So here in this case, food is uncountable, but parents, they are countable. So depending on that, when it is countable noun, we use adjective of number. Whenever we can count the noun, we use adjective of number. And when we cannot count it, when it is uncountable, we use adjectives of quantity. So here books. Okay. So we have, see the sentence, we have sufficient books. So here sufficient will be used as an adjective of number because we can count books. But if I say the word, we have sufficient milk, in this sentence sufficient will be used as adjective of quantity. Okay, because we cannot count milk. Milk is uncountable, but books are countable. So whenever it is uncountable noun like milk, like food, we are using adjectives of quantity. And when it is countable like number of parents, number of passengers, books, we are using adjective of number. So I hope it's clear. Okay, so adjective which is used with an uncountable noun like milk, water, food, milk, water, food, etc. are adjectives of quantity. And adjectives which are used with countable noun like parents, friends, books are adjectives of number. Okay, clear? So quantity is used with those which are uncountable. We cannot count food, water. And number, we can count. We can count how many friends. We can count how many languages. We can count how many passengers. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth kind of adjective, which is demonstrative adjectives. We have demonstrative adjectives. So we generally use demonstrative adjectives to point out specific people or things. So a demonstrative adjective is used to point out some person or thing. So as you can see here, that bicycle is red. So that, the word that, the adjective that is used to point out something that is farther away. So that is far away from us. Then this bicycle is blue. So this is used to point out something that is nearby. Okay. Next, these books are green. So green is again an adjective, as you can see. So what kind of adjective is green over here? So these here is demonstrative adjective because this is pointing out at the books. Now green, as you can see here, this is also an adjective because this is also describing the books, giving more information about the books. Now what kind of adjective is green? Guess. Can you guess? So it will be adjective of quality. Okay. So those books are yellow. That shirt is yellow. These tennis shoes are green. Those apples are red. This dress is blue. So as you can see that these, those, this, such students always get good marks. So such, a certain king was very kind. So the word certain. So these, such, certain, that, etc. are the demonstrative adjectives. So there are not many demonstrative adjectives. We only have this, these, that, those, such, and certain. Okay. So these are nothing but they are used to point out at something. Okay. So point out some person or a thing. So these are the most common demonstrative adjectives that we use. This, these, that, those, and we also use such, certain. So such students always get good marks. Certain king was very kind. So we have demonstrative. So the fifth one, we have interrogative adjectives. So interrogative adjectives are adjectives which modify a noun, which changes a noun by asking a question. So an adjective which when used with a noun asks a question is called an interrogative adjective. So an adjective which when used with a noun they asks a question. So it's called an interrogative adjective. Okay. So they are usually followed by a noun. So most commonly used interrogative adjectives are which, whose, what, where, why, how, etc. So let's understand them better with the help of interesting examples. So now which team scored more runs in yesterday's match? So which is an interrogative adjective because when it's used with the noun team over here, it asks a question. It's telling you about which team. Okay, about, so we are asking question about this noun. So which team scored more runs in yesterday's match? Here which is followed by the noun team, which is asking a question. So which is an interrogative adjective. Next, whose dress did you wear for the party? So whose is an interrogative adjective because it is followed by the noun dress and a question is being asked about the dress. So interrogative adjectives could also be used in the form of indirect questions. Such interrogative adjectives appear in the middle of the sentences, like here. Do you know what day it is? So here what is used in the middle of the sentence. So it's not necessary that they will always be in the beginning. Okay. So most of the time they are used in the beginning, like what question did the teacher ask? Which umbrella is yours? Whose painting has won the first prize? But they can also appear in the middle of the sentence in indirect questions. Okay, so do you know what day it is? Here what is in the middle of the sentence? Parul wants to know whose towel is lying on the floor. Final one that we have, the final kind of adjectives are the possessive adjectives. So the word possessive, it comes from the word possess, so which means ownership. So you own something, something belongs to you. So possessive adjectives are used before nouns to show possession or ownership. So a possessive adjective, it shows possession or ownership or belonging. It tells you that something belongs to someone. So as you can see here, your, my, his, her, are, their, its. These are the possessive adjectives which are used in English. So the possessive adjectives, they answer the question whose. So whose is answered. The question whose is answered. The whose house, whose dress, your dress, whose house, her house. Okay, so let's see over here some examples. As you can see here, this person, his name is Bart Simpson. So he's a very popular cartoon character. So he's saying, Marge and Homer are my parents. Lisa and Maggie are my sister. That is my family. So it belongs to him. Okay, he possesses it. So this family, his parents, his sisters, they belong to him. So the adjective my over here is showing possession or belonging. Now this is Homer Simpson, okay? So Bart, Lisa and Maggie are his children. Maggie is his baby daughter. Lisa is his daughter. Marge is his wife. Bart is his son. Now this is Marge Simpson. Bart, Lisa and Maggie are her children. Bart is her son. This is Lisa Simpson. Homer and Marge are her parents. Bart is her brother. Maggie is her sister. We are Bart, Lisa and Maggie. So together they are saying those are our parents. Now we are Homer and Marge. Bart, Lisa and Maggie are our children. So this is Santa's little helper. This is its house. This is Snowball. That is its food. So you can understand when we are talking about an animal, we are using its, okay, to show that this house belongs to this dog. This food is her, its. Okay, so So before giving today's homework, let me just check whether you have done your homework or not, which I gave in our last class. So I hope you have finished your homework. So you can just check whether your answers are correct or not. So identify the adjectives of quality. So I asked you to identify the adjectives of quality from these sentences. So the pool was shallow. So here shallow. I like her wavy hair. So wavy. Mr. Roberts is a strict teacher. What kind of a teacher? Strict teacher. This puzzle is difficult. Difficult. The lady is petite. Petite. I ate sweet strawberries. What kind of strawberries? Sweet. It was a terrible mistake. Terrible. Betty wore a glamorous gown. Glamorous. The French fries were greasy. Greasy. We walked on the shaky bridge. Shaky. His behavior was unusual. So how was his behavior? Unusual. So for today's homework, so you have to do this in your notebook again, and we finished with all these 6 kinds of adjectives. I hope you remember. So let me tell you once again. So we have adjectives of quality, quantity, number, and I told you when to use number and when to use quantity. What's the difference? So this is how many, this is how much. Then we have demonstrative adjectives and interrogative adjectives, and at last the possessive adjectives, which we use to show possession or ownership or belonging. So this is your homework for today, and you should do this in your notebook. Don't forget to write today's date and write the name of the chapter, adjectives, chapter number 7, and finish your homework. So let me tell you quickly what you have to do. So the first one, circle each adjective or adjectives in the sentences given below. So write the sentence in your notebook and circle the adjectives. Okay. So the first one, that food tasted bitter. So the first one, let me do it for you. So it will be bitter. Like this, you have to circle. So you can finish the other 7. Now next one, write a sentence with each adjective listed below. So adjectives are given, 4 adjectives are given here. You have to write a sentence with each. Okay, so here you can see one example is given, brave. Okay, brave is the adjective given. So you can write your answer like this: the brave firefighter saved the puppy from the burning building. So like this, you have to use these 4 adjectives: anxious, cold, cruel, and dry in sentences of your own. So it's very interesting and fun to do this exercise. So we'll meet in our next class and we'll solve the exercises which is given in our textbook, and you can just go through the video again if you have any doubts, and also in your textbook you can refer to page number 24 where you can just go through whatever is written. Okay, so we'll meet in our next class and discuss the answers.